wanted to talk a little bit about a different way to see this issue. I know that you came here because, and we really appreciate you coming over here concerned with the separation of families. I know that that's a big thing that drew you here, and we appreciate all the efforts that you're doing individually, but separation of families has been happening for a long time. We, I work with an organization that we have the original director of this organization. We used to be the United Farm Workers, and in 2003, that's when Rebecca Flores, I wanted to recognize her because she was the director for many years. And in 2003, we changed to La Unión del Voluntario and Short for Lupe, and we've been creating resistance in 2003 and before. We had, and why is the separation of families happening? Well, I think that what Jody was saying is, where is the money? Follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money, right? I mean, we have so many programs: 287G, Secure Communities, Stone Garden. Those are the programs that are making a lot of cooperation between the police departments, the sheriff departments, and the Border Patrol and ICE, right? So those are the machine that is deporting people every single day. So before 2014, when the previous administration started arresting families and letting go families, not separating them, but we still deporting families from Central America, we are dealing with a lot of separation of families here. We've been dealing with a lot of separation of families for a long time. And this is what we do here. We create resistance. We are looking into see how can we work with these programs and diminish the ability for our departments, for our police departments to cooperate with ICE. And actually this morning, I came from an appointment with the police chiefs because we are visiting police chiefs, and it is something that y'all can do in your areas. What is the cooperation that you police departments are having with ICE? And how can we diminish that relationship? Because that's where the separation of families happens. And here in the Valley, we don't have to, 90% of the people that lives in the Valley are like me, brown people. I mean, this is the majority of people here. This part used to be Mexico, you probably know, really. This is the border, I mean, really moved, right? I mean, this used to be Mexico. So 90% of the people, we Mexican people, Mexican descendant. If you haven't ever met it, I'm an immigrant. I came undocumented to this country when I was 15 years old. And I came for the same reason that all these people are coming right now, for economic reasons, for maybe second violence. My reason was economic. I was an orphan. I didn't have anybody to support me. And I came at the age of 15 because I didn't have money to buy a pair of shoes in my country. So that's the reason. And when I see all these families coming, I know that they deserve the same opportunity that I had. I married my husband who's here in the back. This is how I adjust my status. Thanks to him, I adjust my status. I had 3 kids. I'm a grandma of 4, but my 3 kids took opportunity of this great country, which is going to the university and educate themselves. And my kids are, and my family, a great contribution to this country. I do not feel that I came to do any damage to this country, but make it great.
Of course.
So I think that every family that comes here, whether it's in Central America, from Mexico, from Cuba, from anywhere, they come with these hands full of wanting to work, wanting to make this country great. And this is what I see the potential in each family that come, and that's what I committed to this cause. I committed to keep families together, but not only the families from Central America, but the families who have roots here. And we have a great population of Mexican Americans or Mexican people that came here undocumented. And what this whole thing about zero tolerance has happened is that our families are terrorized. Terrorized. Right now, all the clinics are not having the participants going to see the clinics because they're terrorized. And here in the Valley, we don't have a great transportation system. People have to drive. Because the only transportation is right here in McAllen. But the people who live in the county we don't have transportation to take them to places where they need to go. So they have to drive. So our deportation machine is the police department, right? Our sheriff department, our constable, our Border Patrol, our DPS. This is how many departments are right now working in here in this area to stop it, to deport people, in cooperation with the Border Patrol. And so this is where we really have to create resistance and have to look at how do we, this cooperation of all these departments creating deportations of families who have roots in here, who have been in here a long time, and that right now they're being deported too because they get caught in the middle of this zero tolerance. Once it's because they're very fearful, once because they had they're so super afraid to move that if they drive and they get stopped by anything, they're gonna flip because they're so afraid. And this is going to be cost enough. Today my husband told me that my brake light wasn't working. One of the brake lights, my brake light wasn't working. I thought, what a privilege I have that I can say I can drive to my work with that brake light not working. Because if I wasn't undocumented, I do not have that privilege. Because that brake light can transform to be deportation. And so I think one of the things that I want to ask you is, be aware of your privilege. Because all of us, and more you than me, has a lot of privileges in this country right now. And we need to be in touch with those privileges. And think every day of those privileges that we have, because a lot of people do not have those privileges. The second one is, be aware of what kind of cooperation your police departments are having with ICE. What kind of programs are really right now working in new areas to deport people? Because that's a huge machine that is putting a lot of people in these private detention centers. So work on that. Be aware. Do research. Ask the police chiefs, what kind of programs do you have? What kind of programs are you working with ICE? And then find out whether this is worth it. Because today the police chief was saying, well, we have to allow the federals to come into our jails. And I said, maybe not. Did you ever do you need to figure out how much that costs? And how much money you actually getting from the federal government? Does it really make sense? I think there is something that we need to look into. And I think that sometimes they assume that it is worth it. The 30,000, 100,000 that they get from the federal government, that they make it's a lot of money. But sometimes maybe there's a lot more money that really is costing them to detain people because they have documents, right? So we need to help the people the departments to be more educated. And I was so happy to say that we are. That's what we do. We're trying to educate them on those issues and find out and help them to create priorities in their department. If the priority says to keep everybody safe, how does this transfer to the training that you give to your whole department? And they're aware that the deportation can be at the bottom of the list, not in the top of the list. So those are the things that we're doing in here to create resistance, but especially because the families are here are terrorized because of zero tolerance, and there's a lot of things that you can do. One of the things that you can do in there in telling people that this is not a war zone. This is a very, and I was listening to everybody who was saying, oh, what a wonderful people. We are wonderful people here. And this is a warm, I think Jody said it, this is a wonderful area that I can leave my car unlocked and nobody's going to break into my car. And I can walk at night and I'm safe. This is safer than Baltimore, for goodness sake. We do not need border walls. We definitely don't need border walls, and we don't need more militarization on our border. And so one of the things that you can do, call your senators and tell them that no money for border walls. We do not need border walls. That money that is being invested, it needs to be invested in the triangle. Invest that money in better education and safety for these people, so that people cannot have to come to over here and the danger that they come. So we need to have that. So there's a lot of ways. So please, in November, do what we do here, and we do Ven con 10, and that means that each of us find 10 people that you drag them to vote. And educate them on how to vote and take them to vote. And this is what we do. We do the program Ven con 10, we inherit from the United Farm Workers. And we educate people who are the politicians that are with our values or against our values. That's what we have to do, right? Who is for us and who's against us, and drag them to vote. And push them and push them and push them until they get out and vote in November, because this is what we have to do. We have to change who is representing us in Washington, because right now, we don't have no representation. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.